As we discussed on the show last week, the Invictus Games has been on in Vancouver. Now, this is what Harry had to say during an interview on the Canadian television network CTV.
Hey, what's going through your mind right now as you're watching this and seeing the competitors pour their hearts and souls onto the court?
One of the things I care most about is the atmosphere, because I mean, maybe it doesn't mean that much to them, but for me, to be able to create the atmosphere for them makes them feel like superstars. The harder thing to do is to merge the general public with military, and for them to feel like, I don't have any connection to military families, but I went to this sporting display and it was incredible.
He also spoke to People magazine while in Canada, saying, "To have my wife here supporting me is amazing. I love that she's by my side. It's such an important piece to this whole adventure." Now, Louise, did we learn anything new about Harry in any of these interviews?
I think the interviews reinforce what he has described as a sacred obligation he has to these veterans, and it's so wonderful to see him in his space where he really does flourish, supporting veterans and their families. And it's great to see him, you know, really pushing that message and being so devoted to it. What was also interesting, I thought, is that TV interview he revealed pretty much that there won't be any more siblings for their children anytime soon. His view was that 1 or 2 kids is probably good. He has friends, of course, who have 5 children. He thinks they're crazy, and he said, well, it's your own fault. You've got 5 kids, clearly. So I thought that was rather interesting, because royals don't really tend to go very public with their sort of family planning thoughts on that matter. But he also said that Lilibet and Archie may end up coming to the Invictus Games themselves one day. He was very much looking forward to heading back to California and talking to them about the event itself, and he explains to them what it's like for athletes who perhaps are missing a limb or have been hurt in combat, and what it's like to actually perform in those games. And he said the kids are fascinated, so it's great to see that legacy he's passing on to the children as well. I really can't fault him when it comes to the Invictus Games.
No, indeed, can't fault him at all. Totally agree. Angela, is there anything else you'd like to add there?
Oh, I always feel incredibly sad when I see them at the Invictus Games. Look, they looked in their element, he and Meghan, and the reason I feel sad is because this could have been Harry's life's work. Every 2 years he goes to the Invictus Games, but that doesn't sustain him between times. If he had stayed as a member of the royal family and he had stayed in England and he'd retained all the work and the connections with the military, this was his real opus. This was what he understands. If you think about militaries all over the world, they are finding it very difficult to recruit and retain. Harry could have been the poster boy for this type of career. He could have worked with militaries, not just in the UK, but across the Commonwealth, and he could have made it look like a desirable career. Look, he's doing great work, as Louise says, with Invictus and with returned soldiers. But there could have been a far bigger work for him to do in this space, and I just think it's really sad. I think he would have loved it as well. He seems so purposeful, so happy, so engaged whenever he's working in this area.